وكيف تكفرون وأنتم تتلى عليكم آيات الله وفيكم رسوله ومن يعتصم بالله فقد هدي إلى صراط مستقيم يا أيها الذين آمنوا اتقوا الله حق تقاته ولا تموتن إلا وأنتم مسلمون. The purpose of religions is to control people, and normally we understand it at the level of the society. There should be several people united by the common faith, and they understand each other better, they won't betray each other. And liberals don't like it. Why would I want to control somebody, or let alone be controlled by somebody else? And we often disregard that this control exists at the personal level as well. When my present self wants to control my future self, which is very difficult because when my future self exists, my present self will not exist anymore. So how can I project influence into the future? This is done through commitment. It is restricting my own possible choice. For example, I can avoid taking my laptop to a lecture in order to not be tempted to browse social networks. I will not be distracted, I will study better. Some liberals again don't like it. They make up excuses like I can use my laptop to take notes for the lecture and improve my studying. It's all a distraction. In order to highlight the point better, consider a hypothetical example. Imagine I am given a gift, which is a button which instantly kills me if I click on it. Without any pain and suffering, I just disappear. Would you consider such a button a good gift? I wouldn't. But for a radically liberal person, it should be a good gift because you just have one more choice. It's always good to have more choices, right? But no, I'm afraid that I may make a bad choice. I want to restrict my choices. Or living close to illicit drugs or cigarettes or alcohols in my house. I don't want it because it increases my chance of becoming a drug addict. So I don't want to have a choice of using them. I want to stay away from them completely. When we talk about immortality, the biological, physical immortality, liberals start complaining about the impossibility to end your life. And there are even liberal transhumanists who use careful slogans. They say, death should be a choice. This is their highest aspiration. They avoid using the term immortality in order to not trigger critics who would be appalled by this totalitarianism. By some reason, it doesn't come up in a regular short life. They don't advocate euthanasia now. But it becomes a crucial issue in a hypothetical eternal life. I don't understand what eternity changes. Why is it so important for you to have the choice between life and death if people are immortal but not now? Because when social workers or psychologists try to save people from dying, those liberals don't accuse them of denying the free choice, like you should give them a choice. If they want to die, it's their choice. No, the common sense is that it's a bad choice. We prevent each other from making bad choices. And this is the point of Islam. It is a strong commitment device. It helps you to commit to something good, in theory, hypothetically. And some atheists don't understand it. When they debate against an Islamic apologist, and he's asking an atheist, what stops you from, and then they mention some disgusting act, like a sexual deviation, for example. So the Muslim asks, what stops you from blah blah, some horrible act? And the atheist is confused. He doesn't understand what's the point of this question. It's ridiculous. Like, I just don't want it. That's it. And there is even a witty reply. I murder as many people as I want, which is 0. And those atheists are missing the point. The Muslim is bragging about the chains with which he restricted his possible choices, or his parents restricted his possible choices. He's saying, look what wonderful shackles I put onto myself, so I will never become a disgusting man. I will never become a drug addict or a woman of easy virtue. So the Muslim is certain that he will preserve his identity and values no matter how long he lives, no matter how many external influences he will be subjected to. Everything in Islam is meant to make a very strong commitment device out of it. So it is designed in a way that it's as difficult as possible to change your mind about it once you have adopted it. For example, waswas. If Muslims have fleeting doubts about Islam, they are taught that it is shaitan whispering into their ears. So they need to repel those evil whispers and not pay attention to them. Or they believe that Islam is 100% true, which means that if there is some critic who tells you that he found some argument against Islam, you shouldn't even consider a possibility that he may be right, because there is no such a possibility. Islam is 100% true. So you will disregard such a critic. You will think that he is either mistaken or lying. And this idea about the lying disbelievers is also a very strong protection of your faith. Because if you believe that disbelievers already know that Islam is true, but they are purposefully trying to mislead you by pretending to disbelieve, it means that it makes no sense to debate against them about the veracity of Islam. What's the point of debating if they already know everything? They already agree with you. So they're just fooling around with you, trying to confuse you. You need to run away from them, or maybe fight against them. But it is useless to engage with them. If you believe in all that, your faith will be intact. It will be preserved forever. And it is ironic that so much of Islamic apologetics is focused on opening the hearts and minds of disbelievers. So we need to open our minds and become perceptive to new information, and then we will change our minds about Islam and finally accept it. But the very point of Islam is that your mind is completely walled up from all sides. So you set up your values, you put your values into your brain and put your brain into a safe. You lock it up and throw away the key. And this way you are certain that you will never change your mind about the key values which make up your identity. So you are extending your life in a sense. You are grabbing your future self by the throat and say, be me, you are still me. Because if I take the immortality pill, it doesn't mean that I will become immortal. I can choose to end it. It's only in fiction books that immortality is portrayed as absolute, and the immortal person himself cannot end it, and he is suffering, carrying the burden of immortality on his shoulders forever and ever. No, in the reality, the major vulnerability of somebody's immortality will be his will, or whim perhaps. In order to truly become immortal, I need to commit to life, to restrict my possibility to end it. And religion can be a commitment device for this. The problem with Islam, however, is that it focuses on the afterlife too much. So I need to take the immortality pill first and then say the Shahada. Because if I make it the other way around, if I convert to Islam first, I will not be willing to extend my life anymore, because Islam teaches that this life is nothing but delusional amusement. وَمَا الْحَيَاةُ الدُّنْيَا إِلَّا مَتَاعُ الْغُرُورِ.